Hey everyone, so this week's promo toon is Marcus, and Marcus is a new leader toon that will be gracing the promo wheel tomorrow. Marcus has a pretty high attack stat, pretty good HP, a bit lower defense in comparison, but is all ready and equipped to lay some havoc. With his rush costing 76 AP, he can deal 750% damage to a line of enemies. They also get daze and impair for 2 turns. So this is kind of helpful. If you don't end up killing the toons, you're at least dazing them, so preventing them from using their active skills, and you're impairing them, which prevents them from rushing. It's a great way to neuter the opponent. The one downside is if you impair the enemies, if they have an attack up when impaired mod, you could end up weaponizing them and making them very powerful off of basic attacks. Marcus also gains 100% attack down resistance for 3 turns, meaning the opponent cannot decrease his attack. This can be pretty effective because we take a look at Jackie teams, and when Jackie rushes, she provides, I believe it's a minus 60% attack debuff. So in this case, Marcus would avoid that from happening, which could be very, very valuable, of course. Specifically because he has a pretty high attack stat, and it would be very easy to give him a weapon to increase his attack further. When we take a look at Marcus's active skill, it's a turn 2 active skill, remove all positive effects from the target enemy, and then this character and 2 other teammates get 75% attack up for 2 turns, so that kind of goes hand in hand with his rush. Ideally, this would be a turn 1 active skill, because with a 20% AP weapon, Dr. Steven, so just appropriate AP gain, you could get him to rush on the first turn. But it would be without this plus 75% attack buff. Plus 75% attack, we've only seen it on a couple toons. I'm thinking Alice, and I'm thinking the blue 6-star Maggie. Otherwise, we mostly see 50%. I guess the new Axel does give 100%, and I feel like his 6-star gives 75%. But the point is 75% attack buff is a huge buff. The removing all positive effects really makes me think of Priya, who has the same active skill without the attack up. And removing positive effects can be pretty valuable, especially when you're rushing on a human shield, because when a human shield shields, they get a 50% defense bonus. So that would be a great ability to remove from the enemy. Now, what really makes Marcus an amazing toon is his leadership skill. All tough and strong teammates get 50% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. So, tough and strong. This is a combination a lot of people have been asking for. The only other character that does this is Diego, and for Diego, it's a plus 40% attack buff. What I like about Marcus right now is that he's a leader toon and he's a damage dealer. And to me, whenever you can get a character that does multiple things at once, they become valuable. I guess you can also add in that he's kind of like support because of his plus 75% attack buff on his active skill. Marcus, I would say, is a long-awaited leader toon. Overall, I would probably give him like an 8 for 10, maybe 9 for 10, because this combination of characters you can run behind him is huge. You can run Priya, Princess, you can run Michonne, who has the Confuse resistance, you can run Rick, you can run Mercer. There's so many different characters that you can run behind Marcus and have them be very effective. And I think that this type of toon will be quite valuable for a long time. To me, any true leader toon is valuable because a leader is always relevant. The reason why I've always used Diego ever since I've gotten him is because his leadership skill is second to none. The reason why Alice was used for so long, her leadership skill, second to none. Michelle as a 6-star, second to none. Priya as a leader. There's just so many characters that fall underneath this category, like even Lily, who gives plus 50% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking to tough and fast characters. Invaluable. There are just so many ways to run characters behind a leader toon. And what's nice about Marcus is that he doesn't have a bound weapon. There have been so many S-class characters that have a bound weapon, which means you're looking into investing a lot of armory tokens to get the exact weapon that you want. Him not having a bound weapon gives you more flexibility with deciding the route you want to go with his weapon and being able to make adjustments on the fly. Now, the way that I would end up modding Marcus, I would give him attack stat all the way. He has a high attack stat already. He gives a huge bonus to AP when attacking. a 50% attack buff to himself as well as other characters on his team, so long as they're green and blue. So attack set makes the most sense to me. I'm going to do attack up when taunted because there's still a number of toons that taunt you on defensive teams, including Trader. A confuse resist mod because of his high attack. We don't want him attacking my own team and causing havoc. We're going to do attack versus fast because there's still some very tanky yellow toons on defense. We could do a crit chance mod here, and it wouldn't be a bad idea, but at the same time, we're really looking towards him using his active skill and then rushing, so he might get one basic attack off on the first turn. So instead, stun resist just seems the better choice for me right now. Ideally, with him being a leader toon, TP4 weapon would be nice to have. So that's the plus 15% attack and plus 35 crit chance to all toons adjacent, including to self. I'm giving him one that has 20% AP to self as well, and the 20% attack, just because if I wanted to make a turn 1 team, I could have him be really effective right away. I'm going to use Alpha because of her minus 50% defense down and high attacking power with Disarm, Michonne for her confuse resist and Guardian, Princess for her normalize as well as her high attacking power on her rush. And the last character could be Rick, for example. 8% AP weapon, commander, active revive. So this is one type of team that you could make. There's a lot of variants that you could do, of course. Like Priya would be a good choice. You could run double princess. You could throw Dr. Stevens in this team. What I like about this team is that we have a defense down option with Disarm, as well as Marcus providing that attack up, and us having a number of attacking toons. Now, the reason why I switched up the order of my characters is based on where my team player 4 weapons are. So it's just a way that I can ensure that the attack stat and crit goes to characters that will be attacking. So I thought that in this video, I would actively show my first attack against a defensive team. This is when I'm kind of just feeling out this character in this team. I haven't ran it before, so I just kind of wanted to see the tendencies of it, see the positives, the negatives, see how it kind of reacts. I will be showing more film after this, of course, where I'm actually improving with the team, so you guys can see how effective it actually can be. I think during this part of the video, I didn't have my Marcus maxed out yet, and he's still not maxed out. I ran out of trainers on my test region, so he is kind of weak, so he's not hitting as hard as he should be. So just try to keep that in mind. This team is not as effective as it would be in an actual battle yet. Even now, as I'm recording the video, I still haven't had Marcus maxed out completely. I think he's only a tier 2 toon, which makes him out to be quite weak in comparison to my other characters. Now, in this match, we're going against a very tanky Jackie team, double Tanya, Rosita, Trader, and I just wanted to point out how this team can function against some of the best toons, I guess, in the game. And I decided to switch Rick out for Ivanova. I like Ivanova's active focus quite a lot. It helps me ignore this taunt effect. It also allows me to get an attack up one taunted bonus on a couple of my characters because that's the mods that I'm running. And you can just see the devastation. My alpha was just able to one-shot 2 maxed out Tanya's and a maxed out Jackie, and I was able to finish up with my other characters. It was a very fast and simple attack team to make. And just to show that the team is somewhat consistent, like again, I have not modded this team exactly how I would like to. There are a lot of deciding factors, like what type of team do you want to take Marcus in against. If you're trying to make kind of a universal team, well, you're going to have to consider your toons very wisely. I'm only running Michonne because of a Jackie leader, of course, because Jackie provides that confuse to start, and Michonne has the 100% confuse resistance. Now, here you'll see that Marcus didn't hit very hard, and that's because of the minus 75% attack down. That's why you need to use his active skill first. He wouldn't have received the minus 75% attack down if his active skill was actually activated, where his attack could not be reduced, but because it was already reduced by the ability before he used his active skill, using the ability after doesn't make that status effect go away. Now, I guess the main question for a lot of players is, what is the real difference between Marcus and Diego? And to me, Marcus is an upgrade on Diego, obviously, but at what cost for that upgrade? Marcus provides an attack up bonus. Diego provides a defense down. What I like about the attack up is that it's not dependent on the opponent's team. We take a look and we see Trader, for example, who's resilient, meaning if Diego was used as a leader, he could resist the defense down. Diego's rush does defense down as well as impair to one enemy and all enemies adjacent. Meanwhile, Marcus is a damage dealer. These characters are very different, and they provide a different type of support for the team. Marcus provides full-on power, his leadership skill shows that, his rush shows that because it's also some control. It's only to a line, but it's helping support the rest of the toons on the team. With Diego, he provides that defense down to everyone on the opponent's team if you hit the center toon, and you can run almost the exact same attack team with a Diego lead. So this part is just for a comparison, because Diego obviously isn't a heavy damage dealer like Marcus, so I think he'd work better in a more offensive team like this, where you have several toons that can deal a high amount of damage. I think this team is just as effective as the Marcus team, but I do like that Marcus, being an S-Class, has S-Class stats. Right now in the game, it seems like the heavier hitters are more desirable, especially, as I mentioned, because Trader and other toons can resist defense down, but you're not finding as many characters resisting that attack up. So overall, if you have Diego, he can still be used. It's a bit trickier because as a 6-star character, of course, he's not as strong, his stats are weaker, he can easily be taken down compared to some of the S-Class characters, and it's just stat-based, even if your Diego has all the veteran rings that he needs. And when we get to a team like this, Diego's not a big damage dealer, Rick obviously isn't a big damage dealer, Ivanova could be a damage dealer, but less so, she's more of a buff and debuff character, so it would be more difficult to run a team like this against a Jackie lead versus having Marcus, who could also deal damage. Overall, whether you get Marcus or not, it's really up to you. I think he's a pretty desirable character. I think he has a lot of great attributes about him, but I don't know if I can say he's a must-have character. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.